Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to use the timeline. Now this is the main part of your editor where you can go through and begin editing your media. So what I'm going to do first of all is just drag and drop a media video file over here. And you can see now it's been added on my timeline, and whatever's on the timeline will also show up on your preview window on the canvas. So I'm just going to scale that up. We've got a time indicator over here, which basically indicates what time it is on the actual timeline. What you can also do is you can drag up the timeline, okay? So this is a little helpful tip if you want to make your timeline more visible, especially if you're working and you've got heaps of tracks on the timeline. It's helpful to actually move it up. You can also add new tracks by clicking on this button here. This will add a track to the bottom. If you click on this one, it will add it to the top. So yeah, that's how you can go ahead and begin adding tracks to your timeline. Now to make some cuts, it's pretty simple. What you do is simply position your time indicator where you want to make a cut on your timeline. You can zoom into the timeline using this little zoomer here. You can just kind of drag it out. You can scroll across if you use the scroll bar, and then you can make a cut by simply selecting the layer and then clicking on this cut icon here. And you can see now I've got two tracks that I've or two basically layers that I've cut out of that one layer. Okay. We've also got these helpful guidelines, so when you hover, when you basically drag something out, when it's in line, you'll see that yellow line to show you that it's in the same position on the timeline. And you can delete media by clicking on the cross icon like so. What you can also do is we've got some really helpful keyboard shortcuts. So if I bring this up again, let's say about 4 or 5 seconds, and I select my layer, I can also use the keyboard shortcut Control S, and that will cut the media as well, just Control S. You can also do things like Command D if you're on a Mac. I think it's Control D if you're on a Windows to duplicate media as well. And if you want to delete things, you can do, I think it's Control Backspace. Yeah, Control Backspace on a Mac. Yeah, to go ahead and delete that. So that's how you go through and begin cutting and deleting things and duplicating things on your timeline using some keyboard shortcuts. And yeah, that's kind of the main overview of the timeline. Basically anything that is shown on top will be shown on top over here. So let me just show you an example. If I go through and grab an image, let's have a look. Maybe I'll grab this one here. If I drag it over here, it's been added on the top. So you can see, because it's on the top of the track, or the top layer of out of the two layers, it gets shown like that. If you want this video to play in front of this image, what you have to do is drag this image down, down below like so, and you can see now that it's behind that actual video. Okay, so it's kind of a basic thing, but yeah, kind of give you some help on that. And yeah, that's kind of the main things that you would need to know. You can also go through and hide things. So let's say, for example, you just want to see this image here, you want to work on that. What you could do is click on this icon here, and that would hide the actual layer above it, so you can actually go through and scale it up maybe, and then maybe you're going to want to go through and see that again, and maybe you want to make it a bit smaller like that. Okay, so that's how you can go through and hide things. You can also lock elements. So let's say I want to lock this background layer, so now I can't move it, and that just helps it to keep in position, so that if you've got multiple elements on your actual canvas, you can go ahead and just play around with the one that you want to use. Okay, so I'm going to unlock that, and yeah, you can also go through and drag out your layers on the timeline. So this helps you to resize your media really easily just by left clicking and dragging out your media. If you make a cut as well, like this for example, and delete it, the media still can be resized back to how it was before, like that. Okay, so that's just a quick overview of the timeline. It's really simple to use, as you can see, and yeah, go ahead and get started creating videos inside Create.